When the president was on the campaign trail in the fall of 2020, he said something. He said, with Trump out of the way, the vindictiveness of a president going after Republicans who don't do exactly what he says gets taken away. Isn't that exactly what President Biden did in Atlanta on Wednesday?
President Biden took the, I believe, right and courageous step to say that Senate rules should not get in the way of protecting the American people's access to the ballot. And he compared this time to a previous time in our history, which is apt for comparison. The President of the United States of America, Joe Biden.
While the denial of fair and free elections is undemocratic, it is not unprecedented. Black Americans were denied full citizenship voting rights until 1965. Women were denied the right to vote just 100 years ago. The United States Supreme Court in recent years has weakened the Voting Rights Act. And now, the defeated former president and his supporters used the big lie about the 2020 election to fuel torment and anti-voting laws. New laws designed to suppress your vote, to subvert our elections. To them, too many people voting in a democracy is a problem. So they're putting up obstacles, longer lines at the polls, lines that can last for hours. You've seen it with your own eyes. People get tired, they get hungry. When the Bible teaches us to feed the hungry and give water to the thirsty, the new Georgia law actually makes it illegal. Think of this. I mean, it's 2020, and now 22 going into that election. It makes it illegal to bring your neighbors, your fellow voters, food or water while they wait in line to vote. What in the heck are we talking about? I mean, think about it. That's not America. That's what it looks like when they suppress the right to vote. And here's how they plan to subvert the election. And now, Republican legislators in several states have already announced plans to escalate the onslaught this year. Their end game, to turn the will of the voters into a mere suggestion, something states can respect or ignore. Jim Crow 2.0 is about two insidious things: voter suppression and election subversion. It's no longer about who gets to vote. It's about making it harder to vote. It's about who gets to count the vote and whether your vote counts at all. It's not hyperbole. This is a fact. Look, this matters to all of us. The goal of the former president and his allies is to disenfranchise anyone who votes against them. Simple as that. The facts won't matter. Your vote won't matter. They'll just decide what they want and then do it. That's the kind of power you see in totalitarian states, not in democracies. And that's not hyperbole. Today, we call on Congress to get done what history will judge. Pass the Freedom to Vote Act. Pass it now, which will prevent voter suppression. But Republicans today can't and won't. Not a single Republican has displayed the courage to stand up to a defeated president to protect America's right to vote. Not one. Not one. We have 50-50 in the United States Senate. That means we have 51 presidents. You all think I'm kidding. I've been pretty good at working with senators my career, but man, when you got 51 presidents, it gets harder. Any one can change the outcome. We will choose. The issue is, will we choose democracy over autocracy, light over shadows, justice over injustice. I know where I stand. I will not yield. I will not flinch. I will defend the right to vote, our democracy against all enemies, foreign and, yes, domestic. And the question is, where will the institution of the United States Senate stand? Every senator, Democrat, Republican, and Independent, will have to declare where they stand, not just for the moment, but for the ages. Will you stand against voter suppression? Yes or no? That's the question they'll answer. Will you stand against election subversion? Yes or no? Will you stand for democracy? Yes or no? And here's one thing every senator, every American should remember. History has never been kind to those who've sided with voter suppression over voters' rights. And it'll even be less kind for those who side with election subversion. So I ask every elected official in America, how do you want to be remembered? At consequential moments in history, they present a choice. Do you want to be on the side of Dr. King or George Wallace? Do you want to be on the side of John Lewis or Bull Connor? Do you want to be on the side of Abraham Lincoln or Jefferson Davis? This is the moment to decide, to defend our elections, to defend our democracy. I did not walk in the shoes of generations of students who walked these grounds, but I walked other grounds because I'm so damn old I was there as well. Hey, I think I'm kidding, man. Seems like yesterday, the first time I got arrested. Anyway, not a joke. Think about it. Each one of the members of the Senate is going to be judged by history on where they stood before the vote and where they stood after the vote. There's no escape. As my grandfather Finney used to say every time I walked out the door in Scranton, he'd say, Joey, keep the faith. Then he'd say, no, Joey, spread it. Let's spread the faith and get this done. May God bless you all, and may God protect the sacred right to vote. Thank you. I mean it. Let's go get this done.
You could put half of Trump supporters into what I call the basket of deplorables. Right? So racist, sexist, homophobic, xenophobic, Islamophobic, you name it. And unfortunately, there are people like that.